Hey there. I just had a bit of a spark of inspiration when I was listening to a podcast this morning. So the podcast was on high functioning codependence. I'm not going to talk about that, but one thing that they talked about really sparked my thoughts around our authority and who is actually in charge of our authority. So this comes from my own experiences learning about my authority. But remember, your authority is about you connecting into who you are at the deepest energetic level and making your decisions from that point of view. But we've got layered on top of that all the stuff that's happening in our mind. And so often we actually allow our mind, particularly our unconscious mind, to actually become our authority. So even if you're a splenic authority, which is so quick, doesn't matter. It can be so easy for your mind to be as quick as that. So you go, oh yeah, this sounds like a good idea, but that thought may not actually be coming from your spleen. That might be coming from your mind if it is based on you actually being, to get from some of my other learning recently about Ixion, that might be about you being the good girl or the good boy so that you're accepted and, you can feel like you're fitting in, feel like you're doing the right thing. But it's actually coming from this place of fear, the fear that you're not going to be accepted, the fear that people are going to actually ostracize you and push you totally out so you've got no one, you're not going to be loved. All right, and it can happen as quickly as that. Doesn't matter if it's splenic, if it's sacral, G center and ego can work very quickly. Sometimes it can work slowly. Possibly the ones that work a little bit more slowly may allow more of the mind to come in, because you then have time to go, oh, what will someone think of me if I do this or if I do that, or if I don't do this or I don't do that. So learning to become our own authority is about learning to let go of the stories that we have been taking on board from possibly our ancestral lines, definitely from our early childhood, and definitely from other experiences across our life. We build up these stories that are usually based in fear and based around a desire to be accepted and loved and, or not be rejected because you're not doing stuff that someone wants. So the old people-pleasing energy. So this is the experiment that we're taking on board with our authority, is recognizing what is truly coming from our embodied self and what is coming from our mind. Your unconscious mind is there to try and protect you. That's what the stories are about. But it doesn't have a perception of the whole scope of your life because it's not linear in how it works. So it's going to jump in and go, ooh, when you were 2 years old, this happened. The same thing might happen here now, even though you're 40 years old. All right, so there's not that contextual linear understanding from your unconscious mind, which is why it still feeds those stories years and years later that are not really meaningful to us anymore. All right, so our job really is to recognize the stories and bring them into the light of day. Usually if we do that, they're not quite as powerful as we think they are, and we can let them go. The other thing is we are here to be truly unique individuals in our own right. And part of our process is recognizing who we are, but also recognizing that everybody else has the right to be who they are as well, without us putting our judgments on them. Now, this is kind of a bit of a to and fro. When we're putting our judgments on someone else in the way that we offer advice or we try and support them, then we're actually prolonging their story that they're existing in. So we kind of need to let that go a little bit. All right, I think that's all of my thoughts. Drop me a little note or comment or whatever if that resonates with you, or maybe it doesn't.